So what are we doing here today then?
Well, we are one of our people from the Brighton Solidarity Campaign is bringing a case against one of the Zios who assaulted her in June the 1st, 2024, and dragged a bag off her arm, which meant that her watch fell to the ground and broke.
I see.
But there's a history of this, obviously, this provocation, because we historically have always been at the clock tower, and
that's kind of like the town square then, you could say.
Yeah, the town square, and we've always been there for many years. I mean, I've been involved in this campaign for over 20 years, and that's been our preferred spot to have stalls, to have discussions and things like that.
So it was like a demonstration that
Yeah,
you
it
guys were at.
was because it was a year into what is now known as the genocide, and people obviously are very concerned and what's happened. So, and the lady in question has been involved in the group for a long time. There is a history. There are a group of these Zionists. I was involved in the SodaStream debacle, which went on for 2 years. Every Saturday we were out trying to inform the public as to the fact that this SodaStream company was selling wares that had been manufactured on stolen Palestinian land. And it became a very bitter discussion between us and Zionists, and it became at times quite violent. And this has a history. So the people involved in this, it goes back a number of years. So it isn't just the lady in question turning up on the day. There is a whole history behind this.
So you'd say they come out to harass you at these demos?
There's no doubt they definitely come to harass. And one of the people that is involved all the time, I was in Worthing, and I heard her making it unbelievably vicious remarks, and going up to one of our supporters and saying, "You're the type of woman that Hamas like to rape." And I went to make a complaint to the police about that. So there is a viciousness about the group, which is quite difficult to deal with, and this constant harassment and people shouting in your faces, and so it's become very contentious.
What do you suppose it is they want from you? Why are they coming out to disrupt you week after week?
Well, presumably they want a bit of aggro, and presumably some of them believe that I mean, that they are very pro-Israel, and obviously we are very concerned about Israel. I mean, I think some people are very genuinely pro-Israel, but there's some people, I think, that they like the aggro.
Yeah. Are there many of them here today?
Yes, there's many here today, and I recognise lots of them. Haven't seen quite a few of them recently, because what we've decided to do is really try and cool it down and play it down a bit and not get involved in this aggro, because it doesn't look great for the public to see this constant aggro. So I think our general approach is to try and play it down and be in other areas if we know that they're going to be about.
Do you think that there will be more incidences like the one today which will need to come to court?
I think probably there will be. I mean, I think it's this. The Zionists seem to be getting worse and worse in their anger, I think, and this is the problem. And maybe it's the dying embers of a very unpleasant situation. I don't know. Often things get really bad before they improve. Maybe that's what's happening. Yeah.
And if you had like a final message to the public about anything in particular, it could be about who you campaign for.
Well, I mean, basically, what I'm campaigning, I'm worried about the terrible pain that the Palestinian people are continuing to suffer. 20,000 children are dead, and if they're not dead, they've been traumatised. Imagine 2 years of aerial bombardment and then starvation. and what this trauma will go through. It's going to be generational, and I think they say there's 50,000 amputees. I mean, it's off the scale. I've never seen anything like it in my lifetime.
Yeah. So how did you find it?
Well, disappointing but not surprising. Because what happened, I was assaulted. This well-known Zionist actually caused me ABH on a certain day. During the process, when he tried to drag my bag off my shoulder and was pulling my arm, he broke my watch.
Yeah.
So I showed this to a police officer on duty straight away, spoke to him about it, and he said, oh, that's criminal damage, photographed the watch face, said he'd get back to me, and he didn't. I had to chase him up. Over a period of time, there were actually 4 different police officers allocated to my case. Every single one of them dragged their feet until we got to the 4th one, who was a woman, and it was eventually taken to the CPS. But I understand why the judge said that there was no case to answer. Because he assaulted me, and during the course of the assault he broke my watch, as there was no charge for assault, she couldn't decide that he'd definitely broken my watch. And the reason there was no charge for assault was because when the police first interviewed him, they said there was nothing, they weren't bringing any action, no further action.
Did they tell you why?
They said there was insufficient evidence. It was so long ago now, to be honest. This happened on the 1st of June 2024.
And we're in December now, so it's been a whole half a year just to get this
A whole
process.
year and a half. This
Year
is
and a half.
2024.
2024,
Yes,
oh.
that they did this.
Wow.
So the 4 police officers later. But I complained that they weren't taking any action, made a formal complaint to the police, and they come back and said I was out of time because assault is a 6-month period. It was 3 days, and it was over Christmas, overdue, but it was only because they dragged their feet that it had gone over the 6 months. They'd only just interviewed him, so that's why from the time of me complaining. And then they said, okay, we'll look at charging him with criminal damage. So, and then I had another couple of police officers attached to the case after that, and the woman police officer, she took it to the CPS, who said yes, there was a case to answer, which I'm absolutely baffled at, because what's happened today has just been a waste of my time. This mad Zionist, he thinks he's got off because he's so clever. He's got off because of the police's unwillingness to act against them and their
Why do you suppose the police are unwilling to take on assault cases?
They've got
like this?
been involved in the Palestinian Solidarity Campaign and previously in the Labour Party. We know how heavily influenced Sussex police can be by the Zionists. There is one young man in particular who's constantly attacking people, and he's never brought to book. There's a sergeant in particular who always takes his side. There's a woman that's involved, her name's Fiona Sharp. She's heavily involved with the police commissioner, and they just seem to get their way. So while this man sees it as a victory, and they're all in there cheering, shouting things like "It's our Mossad," and
Is that what they said in the court then?
that's what they were saying in the court. And contented themselves with calling another person that had come in to keep me company by shouting at her that she's ugly, which they've done twice today, on the way in and on the way out. That's the mentality of these people.
Is this how they usually are when you're out on demos and things like that?
They always are. They are. So the person who's just been told that there's no case to answer, he is always surrounded by the usual thugs. There's an ex-boxer, there's one from north of Ireland who's very aggressive, very antagonistic. They're mostly male. This one in particular, he has a history with being abusive to older women, i.e. women my age. I have a friend who couldn't come today because she's ill, but with her keffia, he tried pulling it off her neck once in just the street along here at one time when they
Was that taken on by the police as an assault case?
They do, what they do, Netanyahu sets the bar, do whatever you like with impunity. It's backed up by Starmer and his anti-terrorist laws, prescribing people like Palestine Action, for example. You can't say that you support them because otherwise you'll be committing a terrorist offence. So, and it filters down, and they do what they want with impunity.